the material and unloading of the material. Means when we supposed to handle a particular material, first of all we need to load it and move it, means process it and unloading it. For this particular transactions to be done on a good way and a fair way, we are supposed to move safely, economically handle to be it is particular material, which material we are concerned with, and different types of tackles or gadgets, whatever we use. Because when this particular material handling is referred to as mechanical handling of materials, since we discover that it will be used on wheels or levers, whatever it will be, depending on the size of the material and depending on the shapes and utility of the material. So if we say in any industry, in a very big industry or small industry involving manufacturing or construction type of work, materials can be handled as raw material, intermediate goods, I mean goods work in progress, or finished goods from the point of receipt of storage of raw materials through production process and up to the particular good which is done, a finished product, and it will be dispatching for dispatch points. Material handling is nothing but we can say that it is a production process and or at least reduce the desire, means the decision of moving the particular transactions or material from one place of point to the another one. So depending on the weight, depending on the volume, and depending on the means toughest output what we are using of materials, reduces the cost of handling that particular material, where such material handling are highly desirable. Because if the material is too high, we use with bulk trains or something extra, which incurs more cost for moving from one place to another. And it is a small material, we use people like labor for moving it from one place to another. And if we discuss in deep, it will be treating material handling is a movement of goods and storage of the material at lowest cost possible. Means if you see that when material handling to be done with particular with cost, why we are supposed to reduce the cost, why can't it be increased? Means I have been telling you since the first session that cost is nothing but the process of manufacturing, the expenses which we incur during a production or process of one particular unit. So that is the reason material handling plays a very important role, because here we can see that the material can be safely economically moved. Not only safely, we have to see the cost for movement of the goods from one place to another, so that it should be processed and it should be ultimately reaching the dispatch points, means customer. Now, what is the importance of this material handling? The foremost importance object of this particular materials handling is that it helps in productivity and thereby increases. When productivity is increased, obviously means sales will be increased. When sales will be increased, it will be directly increasing the profitability of the industry. So we can say that many enterprises out of business because inefficient material handling practices, they will be out. And what are the points where we need to focus as far as material handling is concerned? Means we need to improve the efficiency of production system. Once the production system is channelized by ensuring that the right quantity of material is delivered at the right place. I'll tell you with the help of an example. What happens if you did not plan when you are moving the goods from one place to another? For example, 10 cement bags are necessary on the spot. From the godown, you need to unlock the godown, open it, and take 10 cement bags and send them to the spot. After sending 10 cement bags to the spot, if they say no, no, 2, 3 are enough, and take the 7 out back to the godown, means cement loses its originality when it is taken out and exposed for the external weather. And if at all they say it is not necessary, again sending it to back, obviously it loses its originality. So what is better in material handling? You should plan properly. When 2 or 3 cement bags are enough for particular locality and spot, production spot, you need to take 2, 3 only. Maximum extend one extra, but not 10, 15, because the vehicle is there, no proper planning is there, and moving them here and there. And even unloading, loading charges will also be taken from the labor, because unplanned, not properly planned material handling will be taken. So the importance of material handling lies in the planning, and you need to cut down the indirect labor cost, because whenever you are taking the particular goods out, you must be handling with the direct and indirect labor. So when just now I said that when 3 cement bags are necessary, you have taken out 10 and again reached the place of production, and from the production to the godown, again unloading them. So you need to pay for the transportation, which is mere waste, and you need to pay for the labor cost, which is not to be supposed to be incurred. So this is what we say that because of this particular charges, the cost will be increased, and it reflects on other aspects like the production. The product materials may lose its originality. Apart from it, overall cost by improving material handling. So, if at all we say next is reduce damage, I told you it is nothing but the particular material which will be losing its originality because of unnecessary movement before production. And one more thing is supplying of material increase the efficiency and sellability. Means your product must be successfully sold in the market and the customer must be satisfied. Otherwise, there is no meaning in production and distribution. So whatever the above we have discussed now, like planning, proper movement of goods, it reduce cost, reduce downloading charges, and losing the services. Means like natural originality. All this can be avoided if at all. Perfect points should be taken into consideration depending on the importance of material handling is concerned. So, what are the material handling have systems we use? Means overhead systems, conveyor systems. For example, equipment oriented systems, because depending upon the type of equipment we use, there are different types of material handling systems. So, we'll discuss one by one. So, selection and designs of material handling plays a very important role and is expensive to purchase and operate. Means the expenses are those which are initial cost, like prime cost. I think you'll be knowing. Let me tell you in a nutshell what is meant by prime cost. Direct material, direct labor, and direct expenses constitute prime cost. So initial cost, labor cost of operating the material handling equipment and maintenance of these particular materials, and repair cost, if any. So coming to what are the indirect expenses means resulting from damage of originality or lost goods and repair, unnecessary delivers, unnecessary accidents. So these types of direct and indirect expenses are quite substantial, and greater attention of management is necessary to design and selection the material handling processes. So in order to have such material handling designs and processes, you should first identify the appropriate system. For example, what is the nature of the company it is doing? What is the nature of industry it is handling? What are the goods you are handling? What is your way of material? So this should be identified appropriately. Next one is when so many alternatives are available, you have to choose the best one. You are not supposed to be getting on with what you have taken into consideration. So this type of equipment will also be taken it. So this type of equipment will also be taken into consideration while dealing with the appropriate system and design layout for your material handling. Next, after taking the identifying appropriate system, you should review the design criteria for this particular material handling. So this is what is known as we are supposed to identify the process, identify the design for the appropriate system, and collection of data. What is meant by collection of data here? You should, I think, you will be knowing best that here in the case of identifying the best system is nothing but collection on review of the material handling objectives and data regarding flow patterns and flow requirements. So, what is the collection of data? For example, here, when your industry is running, you should identify and collect the data from similar industries which are already operating in the market. What are the designs they are following? What are the plans they are doing in order to manufacture and in order to reduce the material handling costs? And one more thing is you should understand and identify the relationships between departments. You can ask me one question. What is meant by a relationship between departments? Yes, I do say that in the industry, all the departments are interlinked. Interlinked means when you need stock, you should approach quotations and you should go to purchase department. So when in the particular area of a production, If you want the stock, first of all, you should go to purchase department, inquire how much stock is there. Is that particular stock necessary enough for you to start production? If not, you should ask a required amount of raw material. Then this purchase department goes to finance department for approval. The finance department asks to get three quotations for this particular satisfying purchase of the goods required. So when three quotations are observed, out of the three, the best quotation will be given order. After the order is placed, the personnel department checks whether the particular stock we have obtained is on par with the required one and placed one or not. After taking the finance and personal approval, the stock once again reaches the supplier, area of production, and there it should be entering go down and stock register. So the stock we have obtained should be duly entered in the stock register. From the stock register, again, dispatch section will start dispatching the goods. So this particular idea of relationships between departments also you should understand. And next one is space required and material flow. See, we have 7 to 8 minimum varieties of stock methods. I think you will be material methods. So material stock, closing stock valuation, and material handling is nothing but, for example, in the go down, first in, first out method, you can follow FIFO, that will be, and the last in, first out method will also be followed, that is LIFO, and average stock method, base stock method, like this, so many are there. So out of which you must be, and your particular material handling section or the production section suits, you need to select the best one out of the alternatives available. And next one is material and building characteristics. This is nothing but material and building characteristics, means which type of business you are doing and what is the best alternative for you to go with this particular material handling. And next one, alternatives with respect to optimal material flow, means utilizing gravity, minimum cost, flexibility, easy maintenance, and capacity utilization. This entire depends on the data you will be collecting, because there will be some existing competitors in the market and what they are following, how they are doing the material control methods. And above all, you should say select the best suitable alternative, checking its compatibility with the layout also. After that, there will be specification of the system, and procurement of this particular chart or model can also be taken into consideration. Now, before going for this, we should know what is meant by capacity management. Till now, we have seen strategic management, human resource management, financial management, but we are supposed to discuss now capacity management. Before going for capacity management, let me tell you what is meant by capacity. In general sense, means the firm which is going to meet in the marketplace is known as capacity. So there is maximum ability of a firm to produce and service so as to satisfy the customer. So the theoretically, if you say capacity of a firm may be entirely different than its actual capacity being used for production of goods and services. I'll tell you with the help of an example. What is meant by means a production capacity, a mission capacity is to produce 1 lakh units per day. But what is the required capacity? Here, theoretical capacity of a firm is different and capacity being used is different. Why I'm telling capacity of a firm and capacity being used means a plant can produce 1 lakh units per day. But are you sure that this 1 lakh units can be sold in near future? Because it depends on the demand and supply for that particular layout. So here you are supposed to, this happens due to various reasons like machines downtime, machine breakdown, shortage of raw material, workers going on strike or protest. I think you might have seen TSRTC doing it. And what is that it means? So for example, you have moved goods, materials from spot of storage to the spot of production. Now, if they say that machine breakdown is there, it should not be switched on. So in such case, again, you need to move the material from one place to another. So this is what we are supposed to plan. And we are supposed to design the capacity management. To compensate such constraints, it is better we have a provision of buffer of 22,000 capacity over the estimated one. So now eventually, if the capacity of the firm installs over a period of time, maybe in the less or higher capacity and maybe needed to fulfill the current requirements or not. In such cases, we are supposed to know that the capacity may be increased, which is expensive because right now I am producing 1 lakh units. For example, there is a huge demand. Now we are supposed to increase the capacity, means you need to purchase supplement raw material more, and you need to involve more layout and more labor into the production place. So this is all very expensive. So actually, strictly speaking, there are two ways by which the demand increase can be fulfilled by the firm. In some cases, if we discuss individually, if the firm does not want to be competitive and esteemed in the marketplace. And one more thing is, here we are supposed to discuss the demand increase in one point of time, maybe demand lose in another period of time. For example, raincoats, seasonal products are there. The production of raincoats can be increased just before the rainy season and ending of summer, because then the demand will be much more. Now, after the advent of winter, means umbrellas production and raincoats production can be lessened, because it is not that you are having that particular means demand as it was in the season. So this is supposed to be observed and determined. Now, coming to you, the definition of capacity says that it can be determined by its maximum ability to produce goods and services. Capacity is nothing but if I say that my capacity is to teach for 6 hours per day, but I can tell 4 hours a day, 1 hour a day, and for example, if I must be so close enough, I need to take 7 classes per day also. But what is my capacity? I can take happily 6 classes. That is my capacity. So here we are supposed to certain types of capacities like licensed capacity. This is nothing but production capacity for which the production in items, terms of license has been received by appropriate authority. So the name itself indicates that it is licensed authority. I'll tell you with the help of a best example. In a class of UG, BCom, we are supposed to take 60 students per class. That is our licensed capacity. Means I can sit UG students, I can ask them sit in one particular class of BCom computer applications. A section means 60. 60, what is this 60? That is licensed capacity. If at all I'm saying I have admissions of 60 means 30, there will be 30 students only. If I have a particular admissions of 90, it must be taken to 2 classes, 60 plus 30. But what do people will do? They increase the capacity, means take the students to a big room and make them sit in one particular class. But what is the licensed capacity here? How much students can be seated in a particular class for production or for teaching purpose, means it is tuned to the extent of 60. That 60 ceiling is here known as licensed capacity, which is fixed by appropriate authority. Next, installed capacity. Just now I told you that it is the maximum capacity available in a particular class or material or what the equipment we are using. So installed capacity. Usmania University says that you people need to make 60 students for BCom computer application. If I make them sit like 90 students, that is installed capacity. So licensed capacity is the limit which is officially designated by the authority. Installed capacity is to what extent I have been using in the production. And next one is achievable capacity. So what is achievable capacity? This is nothing but installed capacity minus capacity not used. It may be a strategic decision of the firm, and this particular capacity can be because of due to machines improper or proper condition and enhance the longevity. So this is what is known as achievable capacity, means what is the maximum extent you can use installed capacity minus capacity not used. We are not using the capacity. This is known as achievable capacity. Next one is ideal capacity. Means the capacity that is available for production, but because of sudden breakdown of machine or lack of supply of labor or lack of supply of raw material, the machines and every production item will come to a standstill. Because the production is not done, it is known as idle, because you are not doing anything in the production process because of certain many reasons. So that is the reason it is known as idle capacity. And last one is actual capacity. The name itself indicates this one also. For generating output, the actual capacity is the difference between achievable capacity minus idle capacity. So if from this formula also you can identify what are the various. The first one is licensed capacity. Second one is installed capacity. So what is the third one? Achievable capacity. Fourth one, ideal capacity. And fifth one, actual capacity is nothing but 3 minus 4. Achievable capacity minus ideal capacity. So what is this? Then what are the measures? How do we know the capacity more and capacity? Equipment means we can just say that capacity put to use minus capacity available. How much you are putting it to use, how much it is available. So this difference says that if a machine can produce 100 items per day, if the same machine is producing 70 items, 70 means a machine can produce 100 units per day, but now it is producing 70 only, then the capacity utilization is 70%. Means you are using a machine can produce 100 units, but you are using only 70% of its efficiency, means 70 units. Now, capacity utilization says it is nothing but how much you are using. The name itself here also says that capacity utilization. For example, if the holder of cost of an item says that 20 rupees per year and economies of large scale experience by a firm is rupees 10, then the machines judicially used, the given rest of the actual demand can be lower. Means to some extent, these overtime issues can be handled when workers are not loaded with works during their low demand periods. For example, when the workers are low, our workers are in low demand, you're not supposed to means impose certain types of economies or certain terms of capacities on them, because it may damage the originality and the skill of the existence labor at times. Then next we are supposed to discuss what are the determinants for this capacity utilization or capacity decisions. Simply, the first one is capacity depends on facilities. How much facility? See, I can tell the class in a very good way, but what are the facilities for me the organization is providing? Is it giving high salary? Is it giving transportation for me to come and take the classes? Is that giving any facility, mic facility, making 100 students when my throat capacity is 60? So all these depends on the maximum skillness of anyone. So facilities are infrastructural setups, and firm produce their goods depending on the particular location of the facilities, time to market, time to distribution centers, and utilization capacity. In case if any firm does not experience proper benefits from the above factors of capacity utilization, it can say that the customer can be with a dissatisfaction or increase of pay. For example, a highly talented faculty needs certain facilities. We need conveyance. We want to do that. We want this one. We want this much remuneration. If the organization is paying, well, good enough. The customers will be happy. And if the organization is not in a position to hire such facilitated faculties, in such case, they will be taking the faculty who are available and requesting them to satisfy the customers. Of course, in such cases, there will be dissatisfaction from the customers and also. Next one is production and service factors. Means a high volume of varieties and low volume of high varieties are two major issues in the production setup. So high volume of low varieties and low volume of high varieties. So because India is a rich country with poor people, we can't introduce detergents like Ariel, because Ariel, when it was introduced into the market, it has a setback for 1 year. The reason is Ariel, the production and the particular detergent powder quality is good. But because India is a rich country with poor people, you should concentrate 85% of the public are below poverty line and the middle line. So what Ariel's setback is, it is not in a position to concentrate on the lower middle class people and downtrodden people, because it is too high compared to Rin Supreme then and Wheel Powder, which were the competitors then for Ariel. So then what it has done, Surf Excel was one more competitor. So what Ariel has taken a decision is it started in 2 rupees, 10 rupees sachets instead of half kg and kg packets. So when it has introduced 2 rupees and 5 rupees sachets, so now the same Ariel, which is attracted by fragrance and detergent powder, which is there in granules. So first was introduced, and our customer, like a particular the servant maid who is washing clothes in her owner's home, she will be using 1 kg packet, and after coming home, she also, the servant maid also used to enjoy Ariel powder for herself with 2 rupees sachets and 10 rupees sachets. Means what here we are supposed to concentrate is high volume of low varieties. Low varieties should be concentrated on a high volume, and low volume of high varieties reverse. And now gold will be there. See, certain gold shops will be giving the product, for example, products like 2 grams hangings, 2 grams finger rings, and 5 grams chains, 10 grams chains, like that. This is nothing but high volume of low varieties, means it will be maximum extending from 2 grams to 10 grams. Such a particular means shops will be attracted more because they are producing in high volumes. What are the high volume goods here? Low, volume of low variety goods, means every item will be ranging from 2 to 5 grams or 2 to 10 grams. So it will be attracted more. And low volume of high varieties, you observe, if you go to a jewelry shop, you observe less items, means less weight items like finger rings will be so many 100 varieties will be there. And if you go low volume, high varieties, like 100 grams necklaces will be there, you will find it the maximum extent 10 or 20. The reason is because it is in high variety, it will be produced in low volume. So a particular person who is doing operations capacity management should identify this one also. So because of this, such point also there will be determining factors for each cost per unit and capacity cost also. Next, the third point is process factors. Quality improvement will be the first criteria. So in such a case, the price quality trade-offs should be taken into consideration, because there is a chance that the production or service may get rejected by the service, means by the customer. When it will be, means customers with increasing disposable incomes have choices to buy products from the market. In such case, we must be very careful when we are dealing with a product. So here we say that means little product, a good quality product and services would be much lower than the capacity of the firm which have it. Next plays a pivotal role is human factors. What are these human factors? Means workers. Workers operate the machines in the firm and as per the requirement of the capacity or requirement of the organization. The capacity utilization gets affected whether someone is skilled or semi-skilled or unskilled. It is a duty of the firm to depute the worker from time to time for training so that the capacity utilization of the worker can be done ultimate and optimized. So it will be increasing in the absence of proper skills of the reading of the machine, or it will be breaking down, or it will be having downtime, etc., can be avoided, because in the process you should lower down the particular unskilled employee and give them the running time for making them capacity utilized or making them learn how to make become a high skilled employee. So here policy factors and decisions will also play an important role. How do these policy decisions means the policy of a company to run a factory or plant, number of shifts, as its impact on machine running times per minute and per unit. Further, if we want to run a single shift here in this particular industry, there may be a need for the overtime for which the capacity utilization should be reached. So more running time has a positive impact on the effective capacity utilization. So here we see the demand variations and fluctuations and our underutilization or overutilization of the labor or material can be means of fluctuations can be occurring. And next, operational factors. Availability of raw material, I told you, inventory levels, stock levels, and both raw material and finished goods balancing is depending completely on scheduling the operations. So scheduling operations contribute a lot to the effective capacity utilization. Storage of raw material plays a very important role. Improper scheduling of operational activities, sometimes unscientific layout also reduce the effective capacity of the machine, and ultimately it leads to the industry downtime. Next, there will be having some external factors like government involvement, government regulations, product and safety standards, if at all it is pharmaceutical industries or means petroleum products or coal mines, etc. Protest by the employees because of not satisfying their demands by the organization. So demand and supply fluctuations from buyers end and as well as the sellers market will also be having its capacity utilization as far as a particular deal is concerned. So capacity utilization has these into consideration while means stitching its strategies. So, before developing the capacity strategies, let us discuss what is the flexibility we can overcome in the system when we are designing and developing a capacity strategy. Looking up for the capacity explanation means here, if you look up with the capacity explanation, in future the firm should be flexible in capacity planning. What is meant by flexibility in capacity planning? Higher capacity installments can be beneficial at a later date, at a later stage. To know for this, we should know there is a concept called product life cycle. Each product passes a series of stages, namely introduction, growth, maturity, and decline. So, if you go to a business means cycle, you will observe these stages. We say several stages. That is a product introduced into the market, growth into the market, maturity into the market, and decline. After a particular coming to a certain stage, it has to fall down. So it may be not possible for a firm to understand its market well at the introduction stage, and hence the capacity utilization remains underutilized. So, what a company has to do at this stage, the utilization of capacity improves and comes to its peak stage along with its maturity stage. After coming to the peak, it is now the point where the capacity will start falling slowly. In Telugu, we have a saying, "Periguta viriguta korake." What does it mean? After attaining a particular stage, obviously, no further stages will be taken into consideration. You have to means because here after coming to a particular stage, you have to means certain problems. That is what we say that after attainment in a particular stage, you need to attain certain stage. Like what is that? Where is the importance lies? Is here we will say that product life cycle stages. It may not be possible for a firm to understand a growth stage because we did not know where we will be. Maybe some important points in the mission capacity essential to produce new items. However, major improvements are generally done with the re-engineering stages of the particular company as far as product life cycles are concerned. Next, we are supposed to understand process flow and the bottlenecks. Here, process flow bottlenecks means bottlenecks are nothing but hardships. This bottlenecks means hardships decides the output level and hence the capacities of the machines at different stages which are higher, and the bottleneck means the capacity in the capacity as the firm exploit its economy. So here we say the hardships are the particular barriers may be synchronized with other stages, but the unnecessary waiting time will be there with the underutilized capacity. So you need to understand the process flow and where the problem lies. That is what we say bottleneck. Next one for optimization of operating level, where it should be operated and how it should be operated. It has been to be observed and decided. Here I am using the word first you need to observe, then you need to means study and know where to be, it must be fixed. So this type of activities should be done in optimum utilization level because here it is nothing but delay and taking the symbols into consideration, our diagrams into consideration, at least the data so-called collected should be taken into adversity effects also in order to avoid any types of discrepancies. So here we say that steps involved should be operating and from the advantageous stage from one point to another point, like that we need to. Now, for this introduction and means we are supposed to know one more thing, that is work and job design, how it should be done and how it should be taken into considerations. So this type of activities we are taking into consideration should be done with on par with the capacity decisions and outstanding solutions we can be taken into consideration for capacity requirements and planning. That is what we say CRP, capacity requirement and planning. So this capacity requirement planning helps the firm to judiciously plan, means to legally plan, to clear cut plan its resources, manpower, machines, overtime, undertime, etc. You can ask me a question, how it will be decided by capacity requirement planning. requirements, because capacity requirement concisely operates like a heart operating for a human being. There are simple methods by which we can identify the capacity decisions and outsourcing. Means capacity decisions are strategic decisions and are visible change in short term. Because at the same means is usually capacity decision should also so the demand for the future, the product in market conditions, availability of the raw material and other materials, capitals, inputs, growth, etc., can be better understood. So we can say the capacity can be increasing from time of operations to more swift and more shift along with the labor's work, minimizing the breakdowns, etc. So what is decision tree in capacity resource planning? Means uncertainty in decision taking and decision making is part and parcel of any business operations. In such cases, decision tree, I think you will be knowing what is decision tree, because decision tree is nothing but it can be explained with the notes and points at one particular means. Instead of giving a particular flowchart explanation or something, we use decision tree to say that notes, branches, leaves will be giving for steps of the decision directions. So in a nutshell, I can say a decision tree is like a diagram of a tree with the nodes, branches that depicts the decision avenues along with the chances of outcomes. Sometimes get predicted with appropriate measures, or sometimes they'll also be taken as per the likelihood of its happening. So here we have to keep one thing in mind: the decision maker has to choose the cost-effective decision, maybe from the view of operations or strictly from the view of cost. So now we'll see how the decision tree will be taken into consideration as far as means the keywords, the capacity modeling and capacity building is concerned. For this, we are supposed to go for work and job design. How capacity planning and capacity means utilization with the help of decision tree goes is. Next, we are highly supposed to understand what are the work and job designs. First, we'll see what is meant by work design. How tasks of an entire job in an organization within a period of environment or within a period of given time is designed is known as work design. For example, I need to take the class. For I need to take the class means this is my now I need to design my time, schedule my time, and design my provisions, how to reach the customers like candidates or students. So this is my work design. How I design my proper work on Saturdays and Sundays for taking the classes. This must be well in advance there in my mind to ensure that I'll be taking smooth classes for the students. So this is work design, means how to assess the task, how to give the entire job its clutch of satisfaction. So here we do say that a properly designed job guarantees the worker to accomplish and to be able of what is required for the organization to work. I will tell you with the help of another example. In identifying issues like workload, repetitiveness, and limited control over work, and thereby improving. For example, a faculty must be given 20 hours per week. So I need to identify how many classes and subjects will be there in 1, 3, 5 semesters, how many lecturers I have in commerce. And then comes the question like each capacity means each faculty must be given 20 hours workload. So in such case, how 20 hours workload will be given means I need to decide how I am taking the class and how it will be done as far as the work culture is concerned. So this is how I do say that more pragmatic approaches are there to do adjustments, and they will be behind certain tools, and body positions will also be done. So I need to design my work in the systematic way is an important component for production and operations management, not only for production. So I do say that work system designs consist of job designs, work measurement, establishment of standards, and also worker compensation. Because always we do say that employees have to do this one for organization. Employees must be skilled and employees must be doing overtime. But at the end of the day, a worker like me asks, what is that you are doing from the organization point to the working side, means a worker point of view. So this is an interesting factor where even in decision taking in other areas of design can affect the work design system, because an improper attitude an employee in one particular department can have his impact on other systems and services also. So you need to balance, bring parity. So similarly, not only in product or service design, layout decisions will also affect the work systems, because it is very logical to ensure that systems approach is a followed good decision for design. So we can say that the decision is one part of the system, especially means replaced and acceptable to all the systems. For example, it is production, service design, whatever, wherever the standards are to be observed. So here we say the relevance of work design is there for the organization to the renderance of the employees. Work design as a process could address certain factors with the work environment, control, workload, overload, economic aspects associated with the employees, etc. So now it is time for us to, we have to aim to improve our productivity and psychological climate also. For example, if a faculty comes to me and says that I am not feeling well, Nana, will you please mute yourself? I think it is Bhavani Shankar. So what is meant by this particular means, as such, one of the aims is to improve the productivity and psychological climate. I'm telling with the help of an example now. One faculty comes to me saying that, madam, I'm not having a good health. It is my duty to see the ultimate means healthiness and happiness of the employee too. I should not always impose certain standards from organization side and ask them to means go with the considerations. So this is what is necessary for understanding the healthiness of the employees and healthiness of the organization. So it is relevant for us to do due to the changes of nature of work environment, moving a stranger from one service to another because of its economical conditions, and increase the number of women also in workforce. As a number of, if you see larger number of workers who remain employed for longer periods. For example, yesterday only I have shared a word with IMA in Kesha Memorial College. She said she is there from past 20 years. She is now, I think, above 54, 55 years of age. I asked her yesterday, since how many years you are working in Kesha Memorial? She said, yeah, she has joined Kesha Memorial College as an IMA at the time when she is newly got married. And she had two kids. Now her kids are, she is having granddaughters and grandchildren, but thank God she is there in Kesha Memorial College only, the IMA level. I asked her, are you happy here? Because it is our particular means position. We need to encourage, know about HR. That's the reason I asked. Since 20 to 25 years, you said you are working here. How much salary you have started? She said, I started with 2,000. Now, what is the salary you are drawing? It is around 15 to 20,000 she is drawing now. So an IMA who stayed in the same organization in different levels of work and different means utilities of work. She has to put tea for employees. She has to do the sweeping work. She has to do the mopping work, and at times she has to do other extra works also at the times of inspection. Stay beyond hours, and everything is taken into consideration. This is what we say: changing of nature of work environment and increase of women workforce, large number of older remaining in the same employed in the longer period. For example, people like us, if I am paid high, I will obviously jump from Kesha Memorial and go to some other ABC college, because I'll see that I will be the highly paid remunerative. So, but now if you see the older people, they stay in the particular organization for a large number of years. That is, in such case, it is our particular responsibility to see their mental health and psychological climates also. So as well, jobs are increasing. I did not say that no jobs are there, but less focused on the physical aspects of an employee, but more concentration on using mental processes. So why people like Deloitte or some Infosys or Wipro will be taking the means employees on a holiday? Why do they say celebrate like means CV writing day or impact day or Red Cross going on Red Cross means the means animal services, orphan centers? Why they go like this means it is nothing but to balance the employees frustration and psychological climate. And it is even means going for mental depressions, mental imbalances. So there is a perception also that work becomes more complex if this blurs between a line of mental and physical activity. If you sit in front of a computer, do for 16 to 17 hours, when you get up from particular computer, your PC or laptop, move out, your eyes will be blurring because on the screens you are losing your eyesight, and whatever you are doing there renders your work. Yes, of course, every 45 minutes you need to get up and have a walk of 2 minutes and again start the work. So such type of mental health tips should also be must be taken into consideration for our work study. Now here I used a new word called work study. What is meant by work study? It's a simple definition: systematic examinations of methods of carrying activities which are there to improve the effectiveness of the used resources of employees, material, and set up performance standards. Work study in simple says that it is enhancing production efficiency of a firm by elimination of waste. For example, why do we in colleges celebrate a freshers day, a traditional day, a food fest, or a farewell? Because within the four walls, taking all the students and bluffing them, stuffing them with whatever there in the books by lectures and lectures and lectures means they too will be getting frustrated. And through not to make them come to frustrated levels, we use certain terms like production efficiency and making them enjoying one particular day with a sports or outing, or taking them to field trips, visits, like that. What is it? It is nothing but a technique to identify non-value adding operations. Non-value operations are nothing but unnecessary issues. So what is that we will be getting from this work study forms means it is nothing but work study form is nothing but a work design, work system design. The purpose of work design is to identify the most effective of achieving necessary functions. You should identify a student who is good at some art. Let that student be increased and given a particular art. Make them clubs, make them involved in the clubs, and make them become a particular leader in the college. Give them a CRship, student leadership, because to bring their leadership qualities out. This is what is nothing but managing their efficiency with the study and work culture. So achieving necessary functions, we are supposed to go with the work study. So what are, is that there any advantages for this work study means? Yes, work study helps in achieving smooth production because there will not be any interruptions. There will not be any psychological or physiological imbalances because you are always engaging your employees with something other, and it helps to reduce the cost of the product by in nothing but wastage and using maximum operations utilizations. And it can be one more thing is better worker management relationship. This plays a very important role in recent times. For example, last couple of years, Corona was hit, and when Corona was hit, these employees, our organizational employees, were given certain relaxations like medical facilities, a free distribution of masks and sanitizers. All this nothing but an employee should feel that yes, my manager is much worried about my health. Then only they will own the organization and render the best to the organization. And this means and this meets the certain commitments of the employees. When an employer or organization is giving ESI facility, and next one is what is that, quarters for residents, and the next one is kids education, and everything is borne by the organization means obviously that gives the worker to be associated more number of periods with the organization, and it helps even establishing standard time for operations and less job targets also. And not only this, it will be even increasing the better workplace layout. For example, if an employee is more dedicated to the work, even if it is a heavy rain and state government asked us to stay at home, a worker will go and finish off his work. Because yesterday we did not know where to stop, because we have stopped thinking that tomorrow I can go to the organization and complete my work. All of a sudden at morning 8:30, there will be heavy rain, downpour, and the state government all asked us to stay at home. The worker who is more worried about staying at home but going to office and do such systems and such conditions, such commitment, management has to give to the worker. So this is what is meant by capacity building, and work capacity identifications and work study. In the next class, I'll be taking up what is meant by method study because we have done now work study. The next class, next session, meet you people with the method studies.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you, Abhiram.